There was one question, and I've gotten already 5 messages in this morning, 3 of which said, are you having the gathering this morning? 2 of which said, why isn't the video posted already? Yeah, but we're still making it, so we'll get there. We also are going to have Zoom meetings, so that and send messages out on that one. So if you do have questions, people can get together. It's a lot less intimidating if you come in together and learning them anyway. I wanted to set it up during the time that Warren was donating platelets, so that he had the machine going on and he'd be able to doing something productive while he's sitting there doing nothing else. We do have very good news, because good news is already taken with the gospel message. And we have some general news to start off with. The very good news is that Jay has worked together, we've gotten a website. So all of the stuff that we have, all the forms, all of the things are all up on the Great Lakes Ministries.org website. So that if it turns out you need to have the sheets to be able to go and get a roster sheet and you have other things, all of that is on there. The nice thing about that is that you don't have to wait for me to respond to your email. That was pretty good. I had everything stored up on all the devices I can think of, but inevitably I was stuck in Hinsdale, which doesn't have cell phone service, and I couldn't get things off. We also have introduced some of the email things. We're using MailChimp, so we can tell when you haven't read the emails.
But I will say, it may be going in your spam filter, so if you can take contacts at greatlakesministries.org, if you can put that in your address book, so then it won't get caught in your spam.
Yeah. Because before, what we did to get around that was I sent off a total like 25 or 30 email to each individual church group. But we never knew if someone wasn't getting the messages and they weren't opening it up, or you gave somebody's old email address. Lloyd was in that. Lloyd said, I never got the emails. Here's the address. I haven't used that email address in 5 years. Okay, so in the past 3 I've been emailing you. One of the pieces of news is that we are increasing the price by $10, and that's on the online. We have online registration available. There is a plus to that. There's also a minus on that. We are increasing the price by the $10, but we are also having prepaid admission this year. So if you want to, you can go ahead and get bands in advance. When you do your registration, we're giving you 5 bands to be able to give out for free admissions to people. Actually coming out a little bit ahead, because this admission is $3. So you're coming out a little bit ahead, but we would rather have that. One of the things that has come up in the past, if you have a family that is going through unemployment, or is going through a very bad economic time because of things coming up, hand them one of them and say, please come as our guest. Or 2 of them for parents. You can also use these. This could be a great way to be able to hand to your pastor to invite him specifically, or her specifically, full-time ministry people. And because it is this Tyvek stuff, you can even write on it, please come as our guest, and give them the time and the date. Do it on the outside, not the inside, because it will rub off. I won't make that mistake again. And so there's just an opportunity to be able to have more things coming in. We also want to point out that we have a new parental consent and release of liability form that's on the website. The volunteer form is still the same. So if you have old volunteer forms, you can use those. We do have a new parental release. Big thing on this one, one of the big changes is for the media consent. If it's okay to have pictures taken and have pictures up, the parent can circle yes. If it's not circled yes, our assumption is no. If you turn in the old form, our assumption is no. This came about partially because my daughter was pointing out, she's in children's ministry, and she was pointing out that there are several kids that they can't have pictures of for very legitimate reasons. And we don't want to isolate out any individual teen, any individual person. We want them to be able to say, yes, it is okay. We also want to emphasize that if there's a kid who's in that situation, we want them there. And we're not going to do anything that's going to cause any rift whatsoever. We don't want that any thought of, oh, my picture might be taken. We would rather have no pictures and have the kid there. I'll deal with media pictures for the site some other way. We also have, the nice thing about having the email going out, a lot of the things that were harped on in these meetings are now either in the rules or available elsewhere. So the parking stuff that we had to do, please don't park your SUV in the grass. Please don't park your RV in the grass. Also some of the things like photography, no drones inside the building. Don't come onto the floor to be able to take your picture. The things like that, we're going to be doing some stuff in that, and we'll do more of that by the email. We also realized that a lot of the times the people who are walking out to take pictures are grandma, grandpa, very well intentioned, but walking onto the floor during the game to take a picture of their kid is just not a good idea. And so we're going to have more things like, you'll be seeing quite a bit of colored tape to block things off. Because the one string of rope apparently wasn't enough. And also, inevitably, there's going to be the toddler who wants to play with the rope and not being watched, and somebody walks over there and flips the kid over or does the things. It's scary to me, and I'm trying to tell the parents, no, that's not a toy. It is a toy. No, it's really not a toy. Beyond that, most of the things are covered up in the games discussion. Get to have fun with Jay. One of the things I wanted to do, because we always seem to dress the same way because it's just habit, I deliberately wanted to put a 19 on him so you could see it was 2019. And that way, we could say next year we put a 20 on his chest, that hindsight is 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, all right.